Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Soaring Through Adversity podcast. I am Renee Bregelet, the co founder and CEO of our foundation and your host. Each month, we amplify the often unheard voices of individuals with intellectual, developmental, and physical disabilities, as well as those who support them. Voices filled with resilience, wisdom, and unstoppable strength. Through raw, real conversations, you'll hear how they rise above challenges, defy expectations, and discover purpose. These are the stories of people living victoriously beyond limitations. If you're ready to be inspired, to shift your perspective, and to champion true inclusion, you're in the right place. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. We are here to define what's possible one story at a time. Let me get started today by telling you a little bit about my guest. Her name is Kayla Joyce. Kayla is a 37-year-old front office specialist at Ability Beyond Barriers, whose life has been shaped by resilience, faith, and deep desire to make a difference. Born in 1988 with developmental disabilities during a time when understanding was limited, Kayla faced hardships at both school and home. A year ago, she made the courageous decision to leave Greenville, South Carolina, and start fresh in Conway, South Carolina. With only her faith in God to guide her, she set out in search of opportunity, community, and a better quality of life. And she found it. Kayla's passions are as vibrant as her personality. She loves art, poetry, nature, Bible study, books, concerts, video games, and time at the beach. She thrives on travel and exploration, always seeking new horizons and connections. Her journey has given her a unique perspective and a heart for advocating for those with disabilities, ensuring they have opportunities and support to thrive. Beyond her determination and advocacy, Kayla has a playful side. She enjoys pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. And once part of an improv group, she even calls herself a connoisseur of French onion soup. In this episode, you'll hear her story, honest, unfiltered, and filled with both hardship and hope. Join us as Kayla opens up about what life on the spectrum truly means. Welcome my guest today. The episode is called Living the Spectrum. Please welcome my guest, Kayla Joyce. Welcome, Kayla.
Hey,
How are you?
doing awesome. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you as well. Well, let's get started with your early years. You have described your journey as being shaped by resilience and faith. Can you take us back to your early years? What was it like growing up with a development disability at the time when support was so limited?
Well, autism wasn't even in the lexicon at the time, and it was very hard on my mom, especially because there just wasn't anything out there. There was no internet. And at the time, she was kind of hoping, like in the schools, that, the teachers would want to do something, do the right thing, but they didn't. So my mom really had to step up and advocate and faced a lot of hardship with that.
I bet she did. I did an interview with Marla O'Neill, and it actually aired last week. She has a son that is autistic as well, and she was talking about, what she was able to do to accomplish certain things that where she was able to do research and things like that. And for your mom, I bet that was a true hardship, not knowing where to turn.
Yeah, especially since it was so limited. Like, I remember being taken to all these different doctors and places and tested in a lot of ways, and I never truly understood it all, but many, many years later, I found, like, old records, and it just seemed like they thought I was just not gonna really amount to anything back then.
Well, I'm sure that made your mom feel very disappointed and took away some of the hope that she had for you. But it doesn't seem like anything that was said back then stopped you at all. Not even slowed you down, did it?
Well, I can't say it was easy, especially with the discrimination I dealt with. Like, teachers hated me. Um,
No.
Other kids bullied me a lot. Like, they treated me like I had a disease or something. Like, there would be many of them saying, "Don't touch me. I don't want whatever you have."
That's interesting. What do you wish people understood better? If you could have a conversation with them, what would you like to say to them the way they treated you back then?
Do you really feel good about doing that at this point? Like, come on. And what
That
made you so perfect?
That's a good point. I talk about how, you know me, I limp when I walk. And
Yeah,
I have said, everybody's got a limp. Everybody has something they deal with that they
yeah.
need to be able to look into a mirror and recognize that fact and to be able to look at you with love that God intended them to do.
Yeah, it's like, just get to know me for a bit here. You'll find that many times I don't fit the normal stereotype. In fact, there's a thing I like to do, and I've done this for years. When I meet someone, now I don't say right away that I have autism or something. I let them get to know me. And then somewhere along the line, I let that slip, and they're like, wait a minute, you're autistic? Wow, you're pretty well spoken and articulate for it. Like,
That is wonderful that you're able to set the stage like that without putting a title on yourself.
yeah,
You're
and when I've done that, then I know I've broken your stereotype.
very good. That really helps paint a picture of how different the world was back then and how you're working to change things now. Well, let me
Yeah,
ask you a question. You made a huge leap of faith when you left Greenville and started in Conway, South Carolina. What gave you that courage to walk away from everything familiar and take this gamble, if you even thought it was a gamble?
it really was a gamble. I mean, there was no guarantee it was gonna work, and I had no idea where I would end up, but where I was, it wasn't working. Things were static. I didn't have the opportunities to do the things I wanted, and for many, it looked like a lack of effort, but it wasn't. It was just nothing could be found, and in Greenville, everything is taken, everything is filled, there's just not enough to go around.
When you say, describe what was going on in Greenville or lack of what was going on. Like, are you talking about housing?
Oh, not just housing, yes, that's a huge one, like, you go on the Greenville Housing Authority, there is just nothing for years,
For
and
you said for years. I think that's an issue in many, many areas of our country for people with disabilities that can live independently, but it's just not affordable. And then that's why you start seeking and try to find it. And what else was lacking in Greenville?
well, I couldn't get paratransit where I was because I was just out of the radius, so that meant no ride to work if I even got a job, and, of course, with how little you get from SSI, you can't afford to do Uber and Lyft because there was this disability organization that just told me to do that, and it's like, "Okay, where's all that money coming from, and how would I not end up in the red over that?"
So you'd be working for nothing in essence.
And less. I mean, that's not productive.
No, but that's what they told you. That support person told you that's what you should do.
Yeah, and at that point, I'd been strung along for years by his group, and I was like, "Okay, clearly you can't do anything, so why am I wasting my time?" And I was just done at that point.
And how did you come about the opportunity to go to Conway?
Well, my number came up for the waiver program, which took, gosh, was 30 years to get to me.
Explain that to me. What is that?
So, it's a special program with Medicaid that offers different benefits to those with disabilities. I don't know a crazy lot about it, but it can take you decades to get it, and that's, like, a really hard thing, and that's one of the reasons I'm glad that Medicaid was really combed through, because it's like, okay, this is an opportunity to clear out some junk and address that, get people what they need faster, and with that, I got a case manager who was really amazing and just did so much to help.
That's fantastic. So somebody was put in your path that helped you as a case manager
Yeah.
to, when your number came up, to find this location for you in Conway?
Yeah, and, I really did hope to stay in Greenville or near, because that's all I've ever known. That's where my best friends are and family. It was tough, but it's like I just had to look at the reality of it, that there just wasn't anything there, and I have to go where the opportunity is now.
And not only did you get to go to an area where there's opportunity, you got to go close to the beach.
Yeah, I live near Myrtle Beach, and, well, I used to go there on vacations with my family, and if you asked me back then how much I'd love to live near the beach, I'll tell you, "Oh, yeah, that would be awesome," but, eh, come on, that's not gonna happen. I mean, what are the chances? And even when I prayed to God for, somewhere else, I never said the beach, but he always knew it, and it's like, "Okay, I know you don't pray for this because you just seem to think it's so impossible, but here, I'm giving you this."
Well, I think the people that listen to you, I know when I met you at the family retreat, I was so impressed by you and the things that you said and how articulate you are and how I see you helping other people. You were just amazing. And I think many of the listeners can, they'll be able to relate to you as you were feeling stuck, but you were brave
Yeah.
enough. And with your faith, you stepped out and you were able to move, and not only move, but move to the beach. And you use that by being guided by your faith. Can you share a moment along your journey where you truly felt his hand guiding you?
Yeah, I just had to keep saying, "Okay, God, you're the only one that knows where this will go, so take me where you need me for now." And I ended up in a lot of different places with a lot of different people.
Did you?
Some that I knew, and also people I got to meet along the way and that I'm still friends with now, and we kinda check up on one another on our, individual journeys, and just teaching me patience.
That is
Te
amazing. So, where you live now, you do have a roommate, correct?
Yes.
But you hope to someday be able to live by yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of a lone wolf, and plus, I'd like to take half my stuff out of storage. I mean, that would be really nice, you know?
Yes. You call yourself the lone wolf, and that's not the first time I've heard you say that. But your personality is so outgoing. That is not what I see or the listeners are going to hear right now. But that's an
Yeah.
interesting fact about you.
Yeah, a lot of times I just prefer to do a lot of things by myself, but I am capable of being around people and having them join me. Like I had one of my neighbors here in one of the other apartments join me at the beach on Labor Day.
Well, Kayla, I follow you on Facebook, and I always see you with a big smile on your face with somebody with you. So, yes, you're like me. You prefer your time alone, but you also like your time with friends and family. So, I see
Yeah.
that in you. It is so powerful to hear how your faith has carried you, even when your path wasn't clear. That is going to
Yeah.
speak to so many people that may be stuck where they're at. And I
Yeah.
like the fact that you said you didn't pray for something that you thought you would never get. like living
Mhm.
close to the beach. And I think sometimes I find myself, and it sounds like you did too, underestimating exactly what he can do and what he's very
Yep.
capable of doing. I experienced that recently, so I really feel what you're saying.
Yeah, and it was during one of those times I was, staying with a friend of mutual friend of ours in North Carolina, and, I write poems and such, and I was just in a very hot room one day with it, like, 100 degrees outside, 80 degrees in that house, and God just guided me to write a poem just about those horizons and, remembering the places I'd been, the people I met, and, I may not be where I'm supposed to be, but I'm not where I was, and I am on the road. There's something out there.
That is a terrific statement, Kayla, that I will think of you often, and I'm going to write down that quote because that is beautiful. When you got there and you started building the new relationships, what is one of the biggest moments when you were making those connections that you felt just the hand of God on you, that He put somebody in your path?
Well, just kinda seeing that many of them were also going through their own degrees of difficulty, like, I met this, mother and her, son who was, I think 9, 10 at the time,
Mhm.
and they were trying to get away from she was getting away from an abusive husband and father, like, I talked to this boy and, oh my gosh, he was so precious. He was so outgoing and happy, but he also recalled to me his dad, like, forcing him to scrub the entire house with a toothbrush as punishment
Oh.
and throwing cars at him, and it's just like, man.
And God put this person in your life so you could listen to them.
Yeah, and yet how positive he was, and just getting to know him, and it just that there was really something there that God wanted me to hear, and thankfully, he is doing very well now.
Oh, that is terrific. I'm glad you finished that story with good news because so many times with domestic violence, that's not the case. So
Yeah, I've
that
kept
is
up with
fabulous.
him on Facebook, and
Yeah,
he's doing very well.
good. Well, let's talk about the purpose that you found at work. You are now working at Ability Beyond Barriers. Tell us what that is.
Right, so Ability Beyond Barriers is an agency in Ouray County that helps those with disabilities in many different ways, For one, there's the residential here, and then there's employment help, so they got really awesome job coaches and case management and, an adult day program.
Mhm. Is it a private company or is it government based?
From what I know, they do get government funding.
Mhm. Okay. But it's like is it like a foundation? A nonprofit? Is that what it is?
It's a nonprofit.
Very good. I would like to come and visit. Is that
Yeah, that
possible?
yeah,
I'd love to come see you,
that
and you could show me around. Well, tell me about your role. What does it mean to you?
okay, so what I do is I work right in the front. I'm the first one you see when you come in. Now, of course, we have secure doors, so, I gotta find out, who you are and who you're there to see and then direct you from that point. But also, I take calls and, I get a lot of people who have a lot of different things going on. And my job is really to, listen to them and then think, okay, what's the best direction to send them in for the help they need? Now, sometimes it's not something we can do there, but there
Mhm.
are outside resources, so I try and, direct them where they should go.
Wow, that sounds like a terrific job. So, do you see yourself as a role model?
I try to be. In fact, there's one of the guys there. Now, he's in a wheelchair, kind of higher functioning, but he has said, I can tell you have disabilities as well. And I never even said that to him.
Mhm.
He was just somehow able to read it and said, we all can. And you can cross some bridges the rest of us can't. And we really respect you for it.
Very good. I know that made you feel good.
Yeah, especially when I started there, I started as an art instructor. So I would go to the different rooms in there and, it was people with different functionalities. And I would come up with things for them to do. And I always tried to, make it fun and give them a good creative outlet because that can just do so much for somebody.
The Soaring Through Adversity podcast is presented by Victory in Time. Victory in Time's mission is to help executives, leaders, and business owners excel in their faith, lives, and work. Through speaking engagements, one-on-one mentoring, and our mastermind groups, known as Victory Circles, Victory in Time wants to help you become the best leader you can be. Find out more at victoryintime.com. Also, don't forget to pick up your copy of the Soaring Through Adversity book, Life Lessons to Lead Triumph and Rise Above. All net proceeds from sales of the Soaring Through Adversity book benefit Victory Advantage.
I've learned through the years that, those types of opportunities to do art or a puzzle, something that activates the mind and keeps you in the moment
Yeah.
is really what we all need that. I mean, it's a good outlet for everybody. So the company Ability Beyond Barriers, so they service people with like cognitive disabilities as well as physical disabilities.
Yeah, like, brain, spinal cord injuries,
Mm-hmm.
developmental, intellectual disabilities.
Mm-hmm. And the age group is what you said, 18 to
So, really, however old you can survive to. I think one of the
okay.
oldest there, and I could be wrong, I think she's about 70 something,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Oh, good for
But it's
her.
all different ages.
Well, it's amazing to me that God put you right there at Ability Beyond Barriers where you can do your art, which you were doing before. And now you are in a position where you can advocate for people and, talk to them about your personal mission and really just do extraordinary things for those individuals and make them feel heard.
Yeah, and I also, take care of a lot of logistics there. Like I make sure they all get their mail and it goes where it needs to go, not just the staff, but them as well.
Well, is there anything you can't do there?
Well, there definitely are. There's things you do need special training for. I've done stuff in churches and ministries for years, but I really give so much respect to the people that do. Like, you really gotta have a heart to do what you
Oh,
do. And
yeah. Absolutely, it's gotta be your calling, and, you're definitely in an area where you can help people. You were talking about, what you want to do and what you wanna portray, and I would say that you're one of the strongest advocates for people with disabilities because of your passions. What changes would you love to see in society to support and understand individuals with disabilities?
well, I would say we've really come quite far. Like, I live near Myrtle Beach, and since I've been here, I've learned that there is so much they do for people with autism. Like, the Ripley's Aquarium has sensory hours.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And this gaming place just opened that is sensory friendly, and there's just been a lot of disability advocacy and changes that have been made in this county, and it's like we need to take that attitude to other places as well.
That's a very interesting outlook to be able to come there because of the foundation that we have, the Victory Advantage. That's why I would love to come to Ability Beyond Barriers to learn.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys there have established an organization that is really helpful to people. So to be able to bring that back to Union County, North Carolina, and really build upon what you guys have already accomplished. I'm sure they've learned what works well, what doesn't work well. I mean, that just sounds amazing. And if we could do that in other areas like transportation, and it sounds like
Yeah.
the people at Ability Beyond Barriers, do the people that are employed there, do they also live there, or is there opportunities for employment outside living there?
Well, if you live here, I know that there are opportunities to work outside of those areas. Now,
Mhm.
I'm one of 2 that is a client and a staff member.
Oh, okay.
The other one, he does a lot of, janitorial and maintenance and stuff like that.
Mhm. Well, it sounds like they encompass a lot of what people with disabilities need to
Yeah,
live independently.
yeah, and for many
Um,
of them, they do contract jobs, so, like, my roommate and another one here, they work at the Grand Strand Hospital where they do cleaning, and some of them go out and clean on army bases, and
mhm.
there's people who work at Goodwills here, so they have these, like, contract jobs for them.
That's terrific because it's everybody needs a purpose every day, a
Yeah,
reason to get out of bed.
absolutely.
Um, let's talk about part of what was in your bio. Your interests range from poetry, art, concerts, you like the beach. Um, and I've experienced some of your creativity in the jewelry pieces that you've made for me in the past that were absolutely beautiful. But I want to talk a little bit about your poetry. You mentioned it earlier, but I understand from talking to you that you have a special dream.
Yeah, I want to publish my own poem book.
You do.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to, get them all together and just find out, what it takes to publish. I, found out there was a place in Murrells Inlet I might try and reach out to. That way, I can actually talk to somebody because, I wanna make sure I don't go somewhere that's scammy and
Yes, absolutely. And there's quite a few different ways to publish a book,
yeah,
and different venues. Self-publishing is a really good way
yeah,
to do that. And I would encourage you to reach out to foundations that would help you do that.
yeah, and
And
what's good is around here, they like local authors, so I would definitely be able to go maybe bring the book to, mom and pop shops or a lot of the touristy areas.
and poetry would go a long way in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Don't you
Yeah,
think?
cause last poem I wrote actually was written from an experience in Myrtle Beach where, I had so much going on and my brain was frazzled, my mom had just been diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and I had all this other stuff going on. And so instead of going to church, God was like, I want you to come somewhere else. Come on.
Yeah.
Which is, a field trip, I call it. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want you to just sit here and listen to talking. I want to bring you somewhere and teach you something. And so he brought me to
Oh,
Myrtle Beach. So I go there near the boardwalk where the Skywheel is. And I came in my bathing suit and, cover up dress. And I go in the ocean and it's rather rough. Now I'm near where the lifeguard is. So, I'm playing it safe. I've learned respect for the water over
mhm.
my life, and several times I got knocked to the ground by these waves, but there were just all these lines and stuff coming to my head about this is what life is, It's unpredictable, One moment, the sea, it can be calm, you can swim out and just float there and smell the salty sea air and just appreciate. Other times, it's rough, can be very dangerous, it's knocking you over.
Kind of like life.
Yeah, and either way, you gotta respect it. And
That's right.
no matter how rough it is, soon it does calm down again. It
It will
always
change. Yes,
the tides change in so many ways.
that's right. So, what you're going to do with your book is you're going to accumulate the poems that you've already written. So, that must mean you've got quite a few.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
long have you been writing poetry?
I've been doing it for, oh gosh, quite a few years. I did a few in high school. Now, some of them I've completely lost, but after I got out, I wrote many. Now, I really focus more on quality over quantity. So
Mhm.
it's not like I have hundreds of poems.
Yeah.
It's like the ones I write, there's a reason for them. It's quality. It's not just me sitting there just trying to come up with things. They came from something, and I just like wrote down a bunch of lines and put them together in a way that made sense.
So, you are writing from your gut, from your heart,
Yeah.
from things you've experienced.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And sadly, there are some people that have found many of them to be too dark and stuff like that. But it's like, well, if you don't know what the dark is, how do you appreciate the light? And not to mention, I'm talking about some pretty important stuff. And well, how do you do anything about it if you don't talk about it?
So, I mean, my next question is from what you've just said is these poems, you don't shy away from writing about your challenging times
Yeah.
because then that takes you from there, almost like we'll say from the valley to the mountaintop.
Yeah. It's like, it's not all flowers and lambs.
And you don't portray it to be. You're honest with it.
No, I mean, I acknowledge that those things are there, but I say, well, then there's this. It's like in that poem about the ocean, it can be great, calm, all this, but it can also be incredibly deadly.
Yeah, absolutely. And so much of our life can be. And I have made statements in the past about the bigger the adversity, the bigger the victory.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of why I wrote the book that I did, that you've read, you were a part of as it was going on, and Soaring Through Adversity. And I'll say, that the net proceeds for that book goes to our foundation. And I feel really blessed because I didn't hold back. It would have been easy just to talk about all the victories, which is what you see so much of on social media and things like that, where, especially young people, they think that everything is roses and it's not. It's just not. There is a reality to it, but we do learn lessons from it if we
Yeah.
allow
There's
it.
shadows out there, but a shadow shows you where to find the light, and it can't exist without the light either.
Oh, that's beautiful, Kayla. That is beautiful. You've mentioned that every path and every person has taught you something that you've met.
Yeah.
You mentioned the young man, the little boy. Who else that has taught you something?
Well, a new friend I made here. She was first person I met when I started at a new church. I had just moved here maybe 2, 3 days, and I was like, "Okay, what's a good church near here? Because there's a lot of churches here." And someone said, "Well, try the Rock." And I said, "Okay, you know what? I'll go there." And this lady didn't even know me, just welcomed me wholeheartedly, and we got to talking, and, she had lost her husband not too long ago and, had moved back to Conway and talked about how she went through a lot of adversity with, racism back then and keeping, the blacks in Atlantic Beach, and how her father was so fortunate to have a crane operator job back then.
Mhm.
But then she never let that make her bitter in any way.
I have said, you can let things that happen to you make you bitter or make you better, and it sounds like she let it make her better.
Yeah, because there's so many people that just let that control their life in a way that's so unhealthy, when it's
You were
like,
s
"Okay, well, what can I take from it and what can I embrace that's good?" I mean, I'm not saying everything's perfect, far from it, but we're so much better off than we were. It's like now the word autism is in the lexicon. In fact, during April, all over the town here, they had autism awareness flags and autism events. Like they had sensory friendly outdoor movies for free and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, definitely other areas of our country can learn from Horry County for sure.
Especially Conway here. Like, I have never met such a friendly town.
Really?
Well,
Conway, South Carolina.
some of the
Good for
friendliest
them.
people you will ever meet in your life.
I need to when we post this, podcast, we need to tag them so they can hear all the good stuff you're saying about them.
Oh, yeah, and coming up, they're gonna be changing the name of the town to City of Halloween, South Carolina.
Really?
Oh, and boy, is it fun. If you like Halloween, well, you are in for a treat here.
Well,
They
you
go
like Halloween?
all out. Yeah, yeah, I like the fun parts of it, not the gore and zombie stuff, like,
Yeah.
no.
Me either.
I
Me
like to go
either.
around wearing a costume, and people gave me candy, and it's like, "Hey,"
Hey,
always generous.
that's good. Well, I have a question that is very interesting to me. You said, which I love, you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, which is absolutely
If you know, you know.
it's
If you get the right.
that's right. I do get the reference, and I hope everybody else does too. But you've been a part of improv groups. Tell me about that.
So, I did that in Greenville, and it was one of the more fun things I got to do because when I was in high school, I got into the drama class and, we did that and I had so much fun. And, I used to watch Whose Line Is It Anyway with my mom.
Love that.
I mean, just the stuff you can come up with off the top of your head and just turn into like really good comedy is just amazing.
That's hilarious. I'm so glad that you did that, and I'd love to come and hear you sometime. So you're gonna have to let me know if you have the opportunity to do that again.
Yeah, I kind of hope somewhere around here maybe there is one or
Mhm.
will be. You never know. We actually do have a theater here called the Theater of the Republic, and they do, concerts and plays and stuff like that.
Mhm. I love hearing about the fun side of you. You are such a unique individual that is not afraid to step out and try so many different things, and, I really love that about you.
Yeah,
Um, what kind of advice can you give someone that may feel stuck or directionless like you did when you were in Greenville? What would you say to that person?
it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah, I know it's tough, and I know you may reach out to people who won't do anything or that'll judge you for what you don't have because so many of them are like, well, no one can do this for you. Well, then we can't do it. Just keep trying. I know after a while you can really get discouraged with that, but keep going because someone finally did really help me out. This really great organization in Greenville called the Barbara Stone Foundation that were
Barber
Barbara Stone Foundation.
Barbara Stone Foundation.
Now, they're a private organization, not government funded. This is, pure donations. And
Mm-hmm.
like, they do a lot of, events around Greenville and or try to advocate for, creating more accessibility and talking about these issues. And several of the people there, when I was first starting this journey were so incredibly helpful. Like they helped me get started, get established, and get on that road I needed to get on.
That's great. Where do you draw your greatest strength?
Greatest strength. Well, I guess the best way to put that is just going with God. I know it may seem like a bit of a cookie cutter answer, but in the end, that's really all you can do.
So you want to tell our listeners to go with God.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do. I mean, through the ups and the downs, he's been there, and in the end, he knows what happens. It's just like, okay, you know what you're doing, and I gotta follow, and I'll see the results.
That's
Like,
right.
I didn't see this coming, but it happened.
It sure did. And it couldn't have happened to a better person. Kayla, thank you for being with me today and all the honest, open answers that you've given. And I find it enlightening how you are able to encourage others in a way that just is breathtaking. And I really do appreciate you being here today.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you had me.
Thank you for joining us on the Soaring Through Adversity podcast. Be sure to listen and subscribe on our YouTube channel on the Victory Advantage website or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes drop on the first of every month, so don't miss a moment of these inspiring stories. To learn more about our foundation, the Victory Advantage, please visit thevictoryadvantage.org. That is victoryadvantage.org. There, you'll find ways to get involved, donate, or apply for grants supporting individuals with cognitive and physical disabilities who live independently in Union County, North Carolina, and the greater Charlotte metro area. We are currently accepting grant applications. Just head over to the grant tab on our website to apply. Thank you again for being so supportive. We couldn't do it without you. And always remember, faith first, not last, will lead to living victoriously beyond limitations. And until next time, keep soaring.